Hello, everybody. It's Damisi here, and welcome back to the There's Grace for That podcast. I am so excited about today's episode. Happy Legacy Day for everyone out there who celebrates, which hopefully is everybody. I just wanted to drop a special bonus track, if you will, on this day to honor and celebrate my brother Gbolu's birthday, which my family has coined Legacy Day. So that is what we're celebrating today, and I thought I would drop this episode just to share a little bit more about him with you all so that you can laugh and remember him and celebrate and honor him on this day and beyond. So he would be 32 years old today, January 15th, 2025. So I am going to spend exactly 32 minutes talking about him. Just kidding. Um, but I do have exactly 32 things that I want to bring across. I'm also just kidding about that. Okay, let me know if those were corny or if those were funny. I think my brother would have chuckled. I don't know. But anyhow, there's no shortage of things to say about my brother. So first thing, Gbolu loved a challenge, folks. If you knew Gbolu, then you knew he loved a challenge. And a lot of times you grow out of things like, oh, I bet you can't do this, or I bet I can do this more than you. But that type of stuff fueled Gbolu to the very end. This guy was always trying to do some sort of competitive challenge with somebody. And when we were younger, it took the form of challenges like, oh, who can do a handstand for the longest? Or um, how many push-ups can I do? Or can I carry him on my back? All things which I succeeded in, by the way. But then when we were older, it took the form of more of accountability partners when it came to fitness, weight loss, healthy diet, things like that. And so we would send each other these challenges, and we would do like a 30-day squat challenge or intermittent fasting challenge where we would share. We would send each other check marks when we would do our workouts and things like that. So yeah, those of you who played sports with him or played games with him, volleyball, Catan, basketball, ping pong, um, Uno, simplest of things, just get him really riled up and motivated. There's this video of me recording him trying to do a front handspring in our yard. Gbolu hasn't had a day of gymnastics training in his life. Why would he think that he could do a front handspring? But you gotta hand it to him, right? You gotta be like, we love to see that confidence. So I have these videos, 2 videos to be exact, of him running and trying to do a front handspring and him falling on his head and his butt. And it being I know that man was in pain for days after that, but we were able to laugh about it. But that's the type of stuff he would do, oh, record me shooting these threes. Let's see how many threes I can get in a certain number of minutes. There were some interesting aspects to his competitive, loving a challenge nature as well. Sometimes it would go to extremes that were very unreasonable. People were always talking to Gbolu about his weight and how he needed to lose weight. And Gbolu knew he needed to lose weight. But he would say things like, I could lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks if I wanted to. And it's just okay. But why do you need some sort of 2-week time limit or time frame for you to go in and do something super extreme and then lose the 20 pounds just to prove that you can do it? Why is that what it takes? But for whatever reason, that is what motivated Gbolu, and I think it just made it really fun to experience life with him in this gamified way. With the competitive stuff, even when we were kids, we would compete about the most the simplest stuff, who can make their food last the longest, especially when it's something good. So there was this one meal that my family would cook growing up, and it was rice, white rice with this gravy, and then we would put vegetarian meat in the gravy. It was the Morning Star. Look, for y'all who know, if you know, you know. It was the Morning Star Grillers Prime. They don't sell that anymore. I don't know why it got discontinued, but that will forever be my family's favorite form of vegetarian meat. But anyway, it would come in these circles, and then we would cut them in half, and then everybody would get a half for their meal. And because it was a meal that we always loved, like that was one of the things that we would challenge each other on, like, okay, who has the last piece of meat on their plate? So, sometimes we would go to the extreme of literally taking a piece of the meat and like putting it under the table or putting it in a napkin in your hand where the other person doesn't see, and then you eat the meal. And then you would like bring it out at the last minute and be like, like, I still have a piece of meat left. Like, that's the type of stupid stuff that we would do. But it was so fun. So we did it with that meal. We would do it with going to Golden Corral. So my family growing up loved Golden Corral. We have amazing memories of us going on road trips to Maryland from Georgia and stopping by Golden Corral either on the way there or on the way back or both. And when it was around the time to leave Golden Corral, me and my brother would stuff our pockets full of as many chocolate chip cookies and gummy bears as we possibly could. Because, yes, all you can eat in the restaurant and all you can take out of the restaurant, okay? So we would get in the car and show each other like what we got or what we had. And then days later, sometimes, like we would just pull out a piece of chocolate chip cookie from Golden Corral and be like, I still have it. And that's just the type of like competitive nature that fueled us and made us laugh, made us happy. So that is the first thing that I wanted to highlight about my brother, was how he absolutely loved a challenge. The next is his humor. The guy, and he had these one-liners, and he would not crack a smile, and he would just have the people around him like doubling over in laughter. It just came to him like that. A lot of the way his humor would manifest would be in bringing up memories from 20 years prior and just bringing it up and bringing it out at the most random times, and we would be like, how do you even remember that? And it would just like make everybody laugh. And a lot of it has to do with like movie references, just because that's just what Bolu loved. So we would just get tickled about the most random lines from movies. For example, Home Alone 2. um Home Alone is one of the best movies ever, but Home Alone 2, the woman, the bird woman that Kevin was afraid of, at the end of the movie, he gives her these two, like, or he has two turtle doves. I think he gives her either one or two. I don't remember. But she takes the turtle doves and looks, and she's like, what's this? And you're not gonna laugh. And that's okay, because if you know, you had to be there. I don't know why that one line, what's this, was so funny to me in Bolu, but to the point where we would like over exaggerate the way she said it. And then when I would watch the movie later, I'm like, she didn't even say it the way we've been saying it for years, because we just turned it into our own thing. So like it would be like, watch these. Like that's how we would start to say it. Watch this. Anyway, that's one of our little movie references that we had. We have a whole bunch of movie references when it comes to holes. Um, Remember the Titans, The Great Debaters, a lot of them Denzel movies. I think the biggest thing I'm gonna miss are the insiders. The things that only me and my brother know, that only me and him will be cracking up about. Bolu would make fun of me for being clumsy. He would catch me in these moments of tripping, or but mainly tripping in different ways. And I was so annoyed because I'm like, how does he always catch me? Yeah. Another insider we had was at the church that we went to later on in life. There was this one person who would go up there and do a certain part of the service, and the person would butcher it every time. This person has been doing this for years, not every week, but has done it enough. And it happens every week to the point where we know exactly how it's supposed to be said, what is supposed to be said. But the person would go up there and butcher it and like take so long to get it out. And so Bolu and I would laugh about that. And so one time, I think I had moved to Nashville for grad school, and Bolu was still in Georgia. And so he went to the church and he recorded it happening and sent it to me. And he was like, "Do you know why I'm sending you this video?" I'm like, "Don't play with me. I obviously know why you're sending me this video." And I just like cried laughing because all these years later, it's still happening. So yeah, Bolu is a foodie. So we would send each other recipes on Instagram, on YouTube, on text or whatever, and we would try out the recipes and ask each other how it was. But Bolu was really into Kimmy's Creation. So if you don't know about Kimmy's Creation, she is this Black woman who is funny and southern and will put these recipes out online, and at the end of her video she'll be like, "I bye, I bye." So me and my brother adopted that, and at the end of our FaceTimes and our conversations we would be like, "I bye," and it was just our thing. So like, those are the type of things that I miss the most. Obviously, like we got on each other's nerves. Like if you don't do that, then are you really siblings? So there are a lot of things that frustrated me about Bolu, but I'm just so happy and proud that like in our adult years, we were really, really good friends. Really good friends. The love was palpable. His hugs were amazing. We always said love you. His kisses were amazing. And I'm just always going to remember him for his sweet, funny, not even funny, hilarious, competitive gaming nature. And lastly, I kind of just want to talk about his legacy and the biggest things that he has left for me to carry on and for us to carry on. Fun, family relatability, and generosity, I think, are the main things that stick out to me. Fun, he's going to make a competition out of anything. He's here to make people laugh. Family, what's understood don't need to be explained. Like, the man loved his family, always prioritized time with family, made sure he was on the family trips as much as possible, and just like loved his family to life. Relatability was something that I think I only got to really appreciate after he passed. Um, we had a family trip in November of 2022 where we met some of our family members for the first time in our adult years. And just seeing how Bolu took to one of our young cousins, Anne, and how like Anne and Bolu were like best friends throughout the trip. Meanwhile, Anne, I mean, I couldn't tell you how old she was, maybe 12. Bolu, 29. And she was always looking for him, like, "Oh, where's Bolu?" And like that was his girl. Another one of our cousins, Bolu just brought into the fold, made sure that he felt comfortable. And that's something that I admire so much because it's a value that I hold dear. And I know that I always want to make people feel as welcomed and comfortable in a space as possible. Like I'm always looking for the outsiders to bring them in. And I didn't realize that my brother also did that. And that was also like something that he was passionate about because he didn't necessarily need to announce it. He just moved. Real G's move in silence, as they say. So Golu just moved in a way where people felt comfortable around him. And he used his humor to break down barriers. And that's how he made a lot of friends, old, young, and in between. So yeah, I can talk about that forever, but I'm really inspired by that. And then the generosity. Like the guy was he had a generous heart and a generous spirit, and um it was just really cool to see how when he started making his money, when he was doing that travel PT stuff, he looked forward to making money not just so he could flex on you people, not just so he could flex on us, but so he could share his money with us. There's a story I will never forget because it was like within the last 2 weeks of his life, and I was FaceTiming my little mentee and little sister because it was her birthday. And I alluded to how I was going to give her money. I think I was like, "What's your Zelle? Is it your phone number?" Okay, cool. So I got off and he asked me, "How much are you planning to give her?" And I was like, "No more than 50." And he was like, "Make it 75. I'll send you 25." And immediately he sent me an Apple Cash, $25. And that's just who he was. He just wanted to share his gifts, his money, his generosity with people, because that's the kind of heart that he had. So those are the things that I'm holding on to. Those are the things I'm celebrating about him. And I am just feeling very blessed to have been his sister, his bestie, his road dog, his ride or die. And I will hold these memories so dear for the rest of my life. And yeah, so those are some of the things I wanted to share with y'all today on Legacy Day. I do have homework for y'all because I love a little bit of homework. So your homework is to let me know how you are celebrating Legacy Day. Or tell me what aspect of Gbolu's legacy or life inspires you the most, what resonates with you the most, what are you carrying on in 2025? And yeah, just how are you celebrating? And I just really want to appreciate you all for listening to this special legacy episode of the There's Grace for That podcast. I hope you laughed. I hope you got a good laugh in. I know that would make my brother very, very happy. Follow us on Instagram at There's Grace for _that, and click the link tree in our bio to give feedback on this episode, other episodes you've listened to. And if you want to support the podcast financially, which is by no means expected, but always appreciated, you can do that in the link tree in our bio as well. Thank y'all so much again. And remember that there's grace for that. As we go into 2025 and start the year, I know a lot of us have goals we want to reach, resolutions and things like that. And I just want to encourage y'all to have grace for yourselves. Take it one day at a time. Give yourself small goals to start with and see how much you're able to accomplish this year. And I'm excited about what's to come this year as well. Thank y'all for listening. Love you. Until next time. Bye.